My name is Christine Marchal. I work for the Phoenix Tour Agency, which is my agency. And I would like to introduce you to Mr. Fagus Tortuosa. Well, it is not a magic word from the Harry Potter story or anything. It is just a curiosity of my region. The natural phenomenon, the explanation is still to be found. The scientific explanation states that it is actually a genetic mutation that affects especially the beech trees, but also some elms and some oak trees too. There is legend, of course, about those trees. The story goes that in the Middle Ages there was a monastery in that forest, and one of the monks of this monastery was eager to rule that monastery before waiting for the age of wisdom. Of course, he made a deal with the devil, signed a pact with his own blood, promising to reward the devil with his soul at the end of his life. The deal was accepted, and the monk became the ruler of his monastery. And of course, at the end of his life, when it was about to give his soul to the devil, he had regrets. And he prayed the Virgin Mary, who arrived just in time to take his soul under the very nose of the devil, who came here for nothing and departed empty-handed. And as reprisals, the devil twisted the trees of that monastery to show that the monks were cursed forever. Of course, this is legend. The true story is somewhere else. Peekaboo! The problem of those trees is that they produce acorns that can't give birth to a new plant. So their only way to reproduce is through their roots, which are as crooked as their branches are. So every once in a while, a new root pops out the soil, gives birth to a baby trunk, which will become, in a few years, a new beech tree. That's how we can keep, preserve and multiply our Fagus tortuosus. It's a teenager tree. He's already driving his parents mad. But within a few years, he'll turn into a venerable tree like any other regular Fagus tortuosa. Phoenix Tours would like to take you for a bon voyage through the vineyards of Champagne, which is certainly the most famous and most prestigious vineyard in the whole world. We are here in the village of Hauvillers, where Dom Pérignon lived in the 17th century. This is the birthplace of Champagne, and Dom Pérignon is the man who started it all. He worked on a natural process. He found out how to obtain a sparkling wine from a regular juice by years and years of experimentations, tastings, and the first time he tasted his newborn champagne, he exclaimed, "Oh my God, I'm drinking stars! So follow me and you will drink stars too." So welcome to the church of Hauvillers, where Dom Pérignon spent most of his life. This was the church of the monastery, and Dom Pérignon worked hard here to discover the method champenoise. If you might follow me. So, how come Dom Pérignon invented champagne and no one else? The situation of the village was a privilege. As I told you before, we are at the crossing of the three main areas for the planting of the grapes, and the village around the monastery owed a tax in grapes every year to the monastery and to Dom Pérignon. And in order to press all together all those grapes, Dom Pérignon built a machine where he put Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier and Chardonnay together, and this is how he found out that the blending of the three juices increased the quality of the wine. Here lies Dom Pérignon, and if he could rise from his tomb, he would explain you the story of his discovery, how some year pilgrims coming back from Spain showed him how they stopped their bottles with the bark of a special tree, the oak tree, that was growing only in Spain and Portugal. This is how he got the idea to use that special bark to stop his bottles and increase the quality of the bubbles inside his bottles. After that, he had to change the shape of his bottles because as they were more tightly stopped, the pressure inside increased and blew them all. That's how he decided to use English bottles, whose glass was more resistant. And after he discovered the perfect glass and the perfect stopping, he had to face another problem. The corks just popped out the bottles. So that's how he invented the staple to stick all those elements together. Dom Pérignon was a lucky man. He was friend to another Benedictine monk, Don Renaud, who was close to Louis XIV. And thanks to Don Renaud, Dom Pérignon brought a few bottles on the table of Louis XIV, and that's how our bizarre wine with his bubbles inside became the wine of the kings. Before the revolution, behind these walls was the monastery where Dom Pérignon and his companions were living. Unfortunately, during the revolution, this monastery was closed and the monks were driven away. The monastery was then sold to a contractor who used it as a stone quarry, and when there was nothing left of it, the monastery was sold to Moët et Chandon. That was a smart move, because doing so, Moët et Chandon sort of bought the name of Dom Pérignon, and that's how, still nowadays, the prestige cuvée elaborated by Moët et Chandon is called Dom Pérignon. And this is where the story ends. There are over 320 villages in the Champagne registered trademark area. Verzenay, with its fabled windmill, is one of them. It is classified Grand Cru village, one of the places where the best grapes are produced. This is the perfect place for a goodbye. So I hope that you will sail on our oceans of vines, which are by now bathed into the golden light of the sunset. The problem is that the acorns... Oh, merde! And we are here in the heart of our vines. And... Oh, merde! Pardon, je suis désolée!
C'est pas grave, on a refait ça, on a refait. Allez.
Of the sparkling wine. Here... Oh, merde! Came thanks to Dom Pérignon, the man who started it all. This is where he just... Oh, merde!